When I went to the school, the staff that I can remember there were Miss Service, who was the principal, Miss Hislop, who seemed to be everything else, and she did everything else, I'm quite sure. There was Mr. Whedon, who worked, but also, what did he do? The hydrotherapy thing, which was always a bit of a laugh, especially for me, because somehow I seemed to manage to miss out on doing quite a lot of things, including hydrotherapy. The one day I did go there, I actually did the wrong thing. The woman I thought had gone in for a bath, and she hadn't. She'd gone in for a shower. Well, it didn't make too much difference to me. I don't think it made too much difference to her. Another thing that I quite enjoyed, at that time we used to do about 2 weeks of nurse aiding in the hospital. I trotted over to the wards to do my nurse aiding time, and I absolutely loved being in the wards because they let me do all sorts of things. I was able to remove stitches, I took out drains, I did all sorts of things. But the best thing of all was that somehow I think my name got lost, and so instead of spending 2 weeks in the hospital doing next to nothing, having great morning teas, I spent over a month there until somebody ran me down and said I really had to have a change, which I found rather disappointing. But I have found that those weeks that I did in the ward have held me in good stead over the years, especially once I got children. I found that I could do all sorts of things without having to bother to go to the doctor or seek medical help for them, because I remembered a lot of the things that I was, strangely enough, taught in that ward during my nurse aiding time. We had, he came later, a man who took us for electrotherapy, and for the life of me I cannot remember him. If the name comes back to me I'll yell it out. But I found what he taught me extremely interesting. He taught me things like how to mend fuses, how to mend broken jugs, how to mend irons. Now what this has to do with physiotherapy, I have no idea, but these were just things that I happened to be with him while he was doing them, and they stood me in good stead too over my life whenever things had to be done. Physiotherapy itself I absolutely enjoyed, never found it difficult, worked with great people. We had one funny little man come in to us, and I've told this story so many times, but this little man came into us to have ultraviolet, and in those days, and I'm sure that the thing would blow up now if they even tried to turn it on, they had this thing which emitted ultraviolet rays, and people had to walk around it. Anyway, this man came in, and we gave him his little briefs to put on, and said to him, "Now you know what to do, don't you?" And he said, "Yes, I do." So we left him to get changed into his briefs and put his goggles on, and we went back into the room and nearly rolled on the floor laughing. There were about 3 of us. We had to turn around and walk out again, because this man was standing there stark naked with his briefs tied around his eyes, and he was really a funny little man. You know, if he was big and strong and had muscles, it might have been worthwhile looking at him, but he just wasn't worthwhile looking at all. That's about all I've remembered about my electrotherapy days, about learning how to do useful things at home, and this funny little man. I enjoyed working with people. I guess it's because I quite enjoy being with people. Once I graduated, I went to work in the New Plymouth Hospital, which was a small department. In fact, I think there might only have been about 3 or 4 of us in the department, and one of them had been a guy who was the year ahead of me, who of course was from New Plymouth, and so we all got on very well there.